This is turn 2, the keyhole, and they'll start to line up here. Will Power in the silver Verizon car on the inside. He dictates the start. The blue and yellow Napa car is Alexander Rossi. The blue and white in row 2 is Joseph Newgarden. And that bright yellow Menards car is Simon Pagenaud. Here we go! Time to go in the championship. Power gets the early jump. Rossi tucks in behind, thinks to the outside. Now Newgarden is going to make a play for second. Pagenaud lingering back there. Right around the outside, there's Felix Rosenqvist trying to get around Pagenaud.
That black and green car, Rosenqvist went big, but there's trouble further back. That's James Hinchcliffe, who's off in the grass, and they're all going to get checked up as he rejoins from the back.
And his teammate has an issue. They got together with somebody there, but Will Power made a perfect start. Rossi slid into position, and he's working on him.
Most importantly for Rossi, he's ahead of that blue and white car of Joseph Newgarden, and Sato now is off in the beach.
I saw Dixon getting by his teammate. Felix Rosenqvist let him go by. Sato gets out of the gravel, no yellow.
That's going to leave all kinds of debris on the track as the leaders come through. Turn 1 now, Power with the lead, but Rossi is right there in that Napa car ready to pounce.
So it's Power, Rossi, who's right on the rear wing of Power. Then it's the championship leader, Newgarden, the Indy 500 winner, Pagenaud, who did get back around Rosenqvist, and James Hinchcliffe is an early diver into pit lane. He's going to change to the sticker set of softer compound tires. The reds are a little bit faster, but
looks
they
like
will
damage,
not last
Kevin,
long.
to the right rear of Hinchcliffe's car. They leave the right rear off and go to make repairs as Sato also comes in to change tires and inspect the car.
Oh, look at the damage on his teammate's car. Marcus Ericsson with that contact. A lot of problems on the first lap for these guys. These guys are all going to go a lap down here.
Is there a chance that Ericsson and Hinchcliffe got together, teammates with each other? We'll have to find out. It's Power back up front, and I'm encouraged for Rossi in terms of how close he's able to follow. And there's Simon Pagenaud and Sebastian Bourdais, the two French drivers in the field. Pagenaud in that bright yellow car, Bourdais in the yellow and black. Let's watch the replay. Yes, those SPM teammates, Ericsson and Hinchcliffe, had contact side to side. That's what caused the damage.
I think Ericsson might have got bumped over into Hinchcliffe, though. Did somebody contact him first?
I think first it was nose to tail on the Schmidt-Peterson cars. Let's see if we can learn something from the onboard here.
His right side tires were already down, so somebody hit him from the right side, which pushed him over into his teammate, which shoved Hinchcliffe right off the track into the grass.
And the seas parted for Graham Rahal.
Simon getting a lot of pressure from Bourdais here. Bourdais looking on the outside line, the high line, as they go into Thunder Hill right here. All these corners is blind. This one you rise up over a fairly steep hill, can't see over the other side. Sideways in the dirt for Sebastian Bourdais. He's going to come out right behind Tony Kanaan. If he gets hung up behind him, Townsend, and loses pace to what these other guys are doing, this could create a big problem for him. If he had open road, it would be far more beneficial.
He really wants to get him by the time they get to turn 4, but he may be too far back.
Bourdais spun up in the keyhole, continues. Wonder if he had help or if that was on his own.
Colton Herta is the car right in front of him right now, that white and green car. Let's look at it again as it stays green.
Definitely got help.
Oh, yeah.
Lucky it didn't take Colton Herta's front wing off, because they made contact across the front wing and it sent Bourdais around, did a 360 and kept going.
So Bourdais leaves the door open. Colton dives in and goes for it. They get together.
Colton got loose and had to correct, and it just sent him over into Sebastian, which spun him around. But no harm, no foul. They didn't lose a lot of time.
Alexander Rossi coming in maybe a little bit early on the two-stop strategy. He's going to need some help to get that done.
He can't get it done. Can't get it done. They gave up on it. He was losing so much pace, getting passed by guys. And here's the pass on the outside. Strong move, Townsend.
This is for the lead. Rosenqvist going to the outside of Will Power. And again, Rosenqvist on the blacks. Power trying to hang on the reds. But don't worry, later in the race, Rosenqvist and Scott Dixon there are going to have to go to that softer red tire and try to make that work. Pit stops coming up for the leaders in the next couple laps.
5 have not stopped yet. Rosenqvist, Power, Dixon, Piggott. Now there's 4. Piggott is in.
And they had the blacks on, and it looks like putting the reds on this time as a front wing adjustment for Piggott, waiting on the fuel, and he pits from 5th, and we'll see where he rejoins, Jan.
And Dylan, interesting news as we watch Santino Ferrucci. He's called for some front wing. He gets that front wing. We checked in with Alexander Rossi and Rob Edwards, and I gave hand signals. He says, we are still good for 2 stops. They believe that Alexander Rossi can save enough fuel. Here he flashes by turn number 1. They just had to get him off those red tires.
Well, he went further than anybody last year. And a couple of Honda teams told me before this race that they think Honda has better fuel mileage than they did last season.
Well, Rosenqvist, Power, and Dixon have gone further than him. Power's still out there on those red tires, has done a much better job at managing those tires than Rossi did.
Now for Rosenqvist and Scott Dixon, Ganassi teammates. There's Rosenqvist. I was going to say there's an incentive to run as long as you can on this stint.
Push this lap.
And of course, some of those radio calls are delayed. And of course, you're in and out laps when they say push, push, push. That is so important. Felix Rosenqvist will want all the fuel. That's 7.9 seconds. He goes with new reds. Remember, this is now his part of the race to be on the tires that Will Power was just on.
Felix Rosenqvist is a 27-year-old rookie from Sweden. He's not won before in IndyCar, but he has finished on the podium a couple of times, as we see Graham Rahal, one of the early stoppers, so he's getting close to the window for stop number 2. Sebastian Bourdais, also on a 3-stop strategy, is right behind.
So Rosenqvist is going to settle in. That radio communication to push, push, push was Roger Penske to Will Power, saying this is the chance. We need to make this lap count before we pit to make sure we stay ahead of Rosenqvist. For Power, he's lucky that Rosenqvist finds himself in a bit of traffic here. It's maybe some dirty air that could slow up the pace and give Power a chance to leapfrog back to the lead on this sequence. Here comes Power, here comes Dixon.
Top 2 in the race, rolling down pit lane. Joseph Newgarden will take over the lead, but he's on a 3-stop strategy. So these still 2 are the effective leaders of the race, and also potentially Rosenqvist. Jan?
From overhead, we'll watch the 2. We watch for Will Power. He is going with scuffed black tires. We watch in the background for Scott Dixon. They take a lot of wing out of the Ford. And man, it's neck and neck as they leave the pits, and they leave in the same order. Will Power keeps that. Remember, Will Power is not as happy with his car on the blacks. Now we have the switch of compound. This is good stuff.
And they're not even close to Rosenqvist. He really smoked Power and Dixon on that pit stop sequence. Rosenqvist there in the green and black car, and now Power and Dixon are way back. So excellent pit work, excellent in and out laps for Felix Rosenqvist.
So the early takers, Newgarden, Pagenaud, Hunter-Reay, they are now at the front of the field on the 3-stop strategy. These guys now are committed to 2 stops.
Power and Dixon did get out in front of Alexander Rossi, though, who, there you see, the blue and yellow car is running behind Dixon.
So basically now what has to happen is, if this race stays green, Joseph Newgarden needs to put about 25 seconds on Felix Rosenqvist to make the 3-stop strategy work.
Right now, Dixon on the red tires. He's going to be a little bit quicker than Power. Power switched over to blacks. So for the first 10, 12 laps, Dixon is going to have the advantage over Power until the tires cross over with the grip level.
And right behind Scott Dixon, Alexander Rossi hanging in there. But we're not sure. Rob Edwards says they can make it on fuel, but it's going to be a stretch. They have to do 32 laps on 2 stints to make it to the end.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very tough. I expected him to go as far as these 2 guys. They went 2 laps further than Rossi. I think he's in the danger zone.
I don't know, though. Rob Edwards, one of the smartest guys on pit lane. I don't think they would have brought Rossi to the pits if they didn't think he could make it. And here comes Scott Dixon.
Here we go.
Oh, that was close.
Touches wheels.
He stays on the rear wing as long as he can to try to draft. Power will not let him by this time. And now into the switchback and try to go around the outside of turn 5. They touch. Dixon almost goes off. Power maintains the position.
Will Power knows that if he can hold off Dixon for a few laps, the red tires will start to wear and he won't have any worries. But right now, Dixon's giving him all kinds of heartache.
He's going to force Dixon to wear those tires out, overdriving the car.
Ahead. Good work.
To make sure that he puts a lot of pressure on him, but that also uses the tires up.
We had such a perfect shot of this from the helicopter. We ride or right above with Scott Dixon. He's going to go to the outside. Power's going to run the middle of the track and kind of push him wide. Look at how far Power is off the apex. Dixon does the over-under, comes to the outside. Power now is going to muscle him, elbows out, and pushes him off to the curb.
Body checked him right out of the way.
Straight out of the NHL.
All fair in that situation?
I think so. I think, you know, Dixon didn't leave the track, but I think Dixon's going to return the favor with a little more authority this time.
He's not going to like what happened the last lap. Will he get further down? Will he do the same thing? Oh, they almost touch again. Power really pushing the issue.
Fantastic stuff in the early going, and understandably this is a battle for 10th, but this could be for the effective race lead right here.
Biggest risk for Will Power trying to outmuscle Dixon like this would be getting a puncture in the tires. You get that front wing end fence of Scott Dixon into the rear tire of Will Power. It's easy to cut a tire down as Chip Ganassi watches on, and I'm sure his temperature's starting to rise.
Power has nothing to lose. He's not in the championship fight. He can do whatever he wants. He wants to win. He wants to get that monkey off his back. He doesn't care about where Dixon and Rossi about their points. That's their problem, not his.
Speaking of Rossi, Rossi's loving this because this just brings Dixon and Power right back to him.
And you know who else is? We saw Chip Ganassi a moment ago, the car owner for Scott Dixon, also the car owner for Felix Rosenqvist, who is up the road and stretching his advantage, and he's on the same strategy as these two.
Oh, big run again, big run again. He's got the draft early this time. Will Power, he's protecting right away. Does he have enough speed? Oh, over under.
The shake and bake.
Low.
To the inside, Dixon. This time will make it stick. Dixon picks up the position.
Dixon was fed up. What a perfect setup job. Power thought Dixon was going to do the same move, and he's gone now.
But a penalty for Bourdais for a pit speed violation, and the leader now on a 3-stop strategy. Joseph Newgarden is coming towards you, Jan.
Yes, and well within the window of this 3-stop strategy. We're going to watch the blend to see what happens with the 2-stoppers like Alexander Rossi. So he goes with the blacks here. He's going on to take quite a bit of the Speedway fuel. He's looking, wait, there's a problem with the fuel. He's looking back, there's not fuel flow for Joseph Newgarden. Oh my goodness, is this a championship slipping away in the pits? At 14.9 seconds under green, that's going to kill your track position.
There you saw Rossi go zooming by. Here comes Hunter Ray. That is a terrible situation for Newgarden.
With a standard pit stop, he would have come out in front of Rossi and had a big advantage on him, but now he's fallen back to his teammate. But the guy right now that's in the driver's seat is Rosenqvist. He is checked out on all the other 2-stoppers.
Well, Spencer Pigot's about 12 seconds back on the same strategy. Sorry, 1.8 seconds back. You saw the graphic flick there for a second. Teammates side by side.
Pagenaud on the outside in the yellow. The white-blue car is Newgarden. Pagenaud almost gets pushed off. Stays in it, still right on his gearbox.
Teammates, yes, but Pagenaud still has a chance of this championship, and I think he feels like this is his chance to pounce and make up lost ground.
Cold tires for Newgarden, hot tires. Simon tried on the outside, but his teammate pushed him wide. Rosenqvist has got the pace, and here he comes.
And this is a bit of a shock because we thought he was on a 2-stop strategy. If you stop now, you're on a 3-stopper. And he went long enough to go, but they're deciding to make a shorter stint on the reds and going back to the blacks. You see, he didn't need all the Speedway fuel. That's only 6.3 seconds, but that is not what we expected on the pit strategy.
Not at all, Jan Beekes. There's no way he can go 45, 44 laps to the finish. So that is a huge adjustment for Rosenqvist. I can't imagine why. Maybe they just thought the balance would be so bad or the mileage wasn't good.
Maybe they had a fuel problem and didn't get all the fuel in it, because there's absolutely no reason if he got a full load of fuel to come in now.
Rossi radio a few moments ago.
Power's not fast enough to do a 68. Copy that. I mean, he's definitely right. He's being his teammate. I mean, if we can get by him at some point, we should, but he's definitely being his team car.
So did they kind of say that Rosenqvist gave up the position for his teammate Dixon? Is that what I got?
I thought he said Power. So he may think that Power, not in the championship, is trying to help out the other 2 Penske teammates that are in the championship, but that's Rosenqvist right in front of him. Power, though, is the next car up the road, is he not?
Yep,
yeah,
and Spencer Pigot now is on pit lane. That's another car that I thought was on a 2-stop strategy. So a lot of surprises here, Dylan.
And they're taking off reds and putting another set of sticker reds on. Remember, they had that extra set because they qualified qualified outside the top 10, so they had an extra set of new reds. That's what they put on here and sent him back out.
And Mr. Mid-Ohio, Scott Dixon, 5-time winner, assumes the lead with a 9-second lead over Power.
And I would be utterly shocked if Dixon came in and switched strategies at this point.
And remember when Dixon made that pass on Power, we said that could be for the effective lead of the race. So there wasn't just one more stop for everyone. Some had to abort. They couldn't make the tires work or get the fuel mileage they needed. Alexander Rossi running in 4th position right now, 2nd in the championship, and a very big weekend for Rossi. He has been the talk of the free agent market. It's been well known. His contract was up. The 2016 Indianapolis 500 winner had reportedly received interest from all the heavyweight teams, but he re-signed with Andretti Autosport and Honda, and it was announced yesterday. Robin, tell us more.
Here's what we got to know, boys. Roger Penske admitted today, yes, he had conversations with Rossi, but when they said they were going to have to run 4 cars, Rossi wasn't interested. That's Roger's take. So he went back to Andretti. Now, who knows if that's exactly what happened, because obviously Rossi's on a 4-car team right now. But I think what's interesting now is Rossi was the big domino. He was the guy we were waiting to see what happened. So what's going to happen? Who's the next guy everybody wants? Colton Herta, 19 years old. He's got a contract with Harding Racing with help from Andretti's technology. But guess what? Ooh, as we see, here's Rosenquist making a move right here. Anyway, so you got Colton Herta. And Brian Herta said today about his son, look, we got a contract with Harding. If this guy can deliver and we can keep running, we're happy right here. But if we can't come up with the sponsorship to keep going, we'll go wherever we have to go. But Andretti wants to keep 2. Nice pass by Felix Rosenquist, Kevin Lee.
Oh, very impressive. Side by side through 2 or 3 corners where you normally can't do that, and he got it done.
Rosenquist's tires were about 15 laps fresher. He knew that this was his opportunity to make something happen. Brilliant job racing side by side with one of the fastest drivers in the business.
Nice job. Car in front of you is Kanaan, just came out of the pits.
And now they want to go try to track down their teammate, Scott Dixon, as Tony Kanaan comes out of the pits.
Yeah, definitely fighting that wheel. You can see it oversteering, understeering, so it's not exactly easy for the leader, even though he's got a big lead, but he's got to still, you heard the radio, he's got to make a fuel number still.
The other thing is that he was about 1.5 seconds slower that lap than guys like Ryan Hunter-Reay and Newgarden, so it could get tight here at the finish. Still 8 laps to go.
And by the way, Rosenquist not only doesn't have a win as a rookie, he doesn't have a podium yet. 4th at St. Petersburg on debut, 4th in the first of the doubleheader races at Detroit, and 5th not too long ago at Toronto.
What's going to happen if Marco Andretti can get back to Scott Dixon?
Rosenquist is quicker by quite a bit, but he's got a lot of lap cars in front of him. He's got to work his way through to get to his teammate Dixon. He's closed it down now from 8 seconds down to 3.7.
Meanwhile, the rest of the pack is closing in a little bit as well. That was 20 seconds not long ago, and Hunter-Reay is within 10.
That big group of lap cars is circulating about 1 second a lap faster than Scott Dixon, so it'll be interesting to see how hard they try to push, because Marco Andretti, even though he's in 15th, that's a battle for position with Takuma Sato and Matheus Leist that are just behind.
By the way, coming up after we leave the air on NBC, we'll have extended post-race coverage from Mid-Ohio. Join us live on the free NBC Sports app. And that will be available on demand as well on the NBC Sports app, as well as the Motorsports on NBC YouTube channel. So we'll wrap up some other stories. Anything we don't have time to get to here on NBC, we'll take care of and recap on the NBC Sports app coming up right after 6 o'clock Eastern this evening.
Look at Ryan Hunter-Reay slowly catching the leaders. He was 2 seconds a lap faster than Dixon that last lap.
Yeah, but he's got Newgarden right there with him.
Look at this.
Now, I think Dixon's got some issues.
Oh boy.
Because these lap cars are now trying to unlap themselves. Does he have a tire problem?
Well, we wondered if the Reds would last all the way for a full stint, or does he have to save fuel? He came in earlier than Hunter-Reay, Newgarden, Power, and Rosenquist has 7 lap pressure tires.
Hunter-Reay down to 7 seconds. It was 10 seconds a lap ago. Big trouble now for Scott Dixon. All these lap cars stacked up behind these guys. is he in deep trouble, Townsend?
And don't forget, these Reds probably started with 7 laps of practice as Rosenqvist goes inside Matthias Leist.
No time to wait. Got to make the move, even if it's not a typical passing zone.
Hunter-Reay 6 seconds back and closing quickly.
Rosenqvist is on black tires. Dixon on reds. Are those reds gone? These guys are closing up fast. Does Rosenqvist have a chance at his first win?
Remember what's happened to Scott Dixon in Detroit when he tried to stay out too long on the reds? He just absolutely fell off a performance cliff. Marco Andretti.
They're on it behind you.
5 laps to go. The lap cars are on the push to pass, trying to get their lap back.
Keep in mind, this is one of the legends in motorsports. Scott Dixon has won 5 championships. Only A.J. Foyt has more. Only Foyt and Mario Andretti have more wins. It looked like he had this one in the bag and wrapped up. Can he hang on? Can he make the tires last? Or will his rookie teammate Felix Rosenqvist win for the first time lap traffic right in front of that green and black car?
2 more seconds off and a half a lap. Hunter-Reay down to 5 seconds.
Rosenqvist going to the inside of Chilton. Can't happen right there.
He's got his first podium basically in the bag, but he can smell a win.
And he's going to have to stay on his giddy up, or Ryan Hunter-Reay is going to catch him. That's his motivation right now to get through this lap traffic.
Oh, I feel for Marco Andretti here, because now Marco's losing the position of Sato. I don't think Sato cares about Scott Dixon's lead. If Sato gets close, I think he'll pounce.
And he's laps down Sato because he had the issue going into the tire barrier at the very beginning of the race. But Rosenqvist now getting a run on Chilton. Does he have enough to outbrake him?
I think he'll get him on the brakes, and he does. Sato's only 1 lap down, so effectively Sato's trying to unlap himself, but with 4 laps to go, Dixon's probably back there thinking, looking at Sato back there thinking, come on, man, don't do anything crazy. Don't do anything crazy. Sato known as the wild thing.
4 laps will seem like an eternity for Scott Dixon. 4 laps will flash by in a heartbeat for Hunter-Reay, who's now down to 3 seconds behind. He's closing at 2 seconds a lap, and there he is on the back of the train.
Dixon's last lap, a 1:11. What are you doing, Rosenqvist? Don't hit a car.
Don't throw away that podium.
Did he get into the back?
Be patient. You'll get him.
Marco Andretti.
Yes, he did.
That's Barry Wanzer talking to him on the radio.
Oh, look at Sato.
Sato, the wild thing, dives inside.
Oh! Here he comes.
And Sato's thinking, all right, if I get my lap back and there's a caution, I can pick up a few more positions. But that's not going to play well if he takes out the race leader.
Oh, look at this. Marco Andretti's going to have a go on Sato, whose side pod is loose.
Oh, they're going to squeeze each other. Make contact.
They touch with 3 laps to go.
Side by side over the hill.
Marco's going to get him.
And Rosenqvist, second in the race, is right there behind him in that second darker green shaded car. And this allows Scott Dixon to scoot away just a little bit.
Hunter-Reay is there.
Dixon's loving this. This is the battle for 15th.
Hunter-Reay's now on the back of the train. He's got to get by these lapped cars if he's going to have a shot at second place.
Oh, Sato to pit lane. I think that's probably to fix his side pod.
It took lap traffic to liven this one up in the final stages.
Oh, here comes Hunter-Reay. He's hungry. Hunter-Reay has a chance. Two laps left, 2 seconds down. Dixon's last lap, a 1:11.
Nice job. 2 cars in front of you is Rosenqvist for second. He's got 0, but Newgarden has 13.
Big lockup by Marco going into the corner.
And that's Joseph Newgarden, who gets through lap traffic to close up again with Ryan Hunter-Reay.
If Dixon hangs on to win here for the 6th time, in the last 35 years, only 1 driver will have won more races at 1 single track. That's Michael Andretti at Toronto. Felix Rosenqvist is not done.
He's cleared Andretti, and he is right on his teammate. What is he going to do? What does the team ask him to do?
Laying down big tracks out of the corner. Rosenqvist, is he going to go for the win?
You got this, Felix. Remember, it's your teammate. Make it clean.
Oh, they're telling him go for it. There's no team orders. What's going to happen? He's right on the back bumper of Dixon now.
No push to pass for Rosenqvist. Dixon has 4 seconds. This is 1 lap to go.
I love it. Ganassi is letting the drivers fight it out amongst themselves. Who's the best? Who's going to get it done? The master, the 45-time winner and 5-time champion, Scott Dixon, trying to defend from his rookie teammate. They come together in the keyhole, nearly touch.
Oh, and Newgarden and Hunter Ray get together for podium. Newgarden's off. That is a huge championship implication.
That's the championship leader around, and the rest of the crowd will pick up massive points in the title fight with 4 to go after today.
And Dixon could hold off Rosenquist. This allows Dixon to close in the championship massively, but does Rosenquist get Dixon right here?
He'll look around the inside, now try to swing to the outside. The teammates are side by side. One going for win number 46, the other for number 1 in IndyCar. Dixon is still in front.
I think Dixon has it.
He's out of tires, but I don't think he can handle it.
3 more turns to go. Championship points at stake and wins at stake. Felix Rosenquist has a couple of more corners. His veteran teammate, Scott Dixon, trying to hold him up one more time. Final corner, Dixon wiggles to the line. Rosenquist on his gearbox dives into the side.
Well done there, Scott.
Scott Dixon will win one of the closest road course races we've seen for the 46th time and the 6th time here at Mid-Ohio. Scott Dixon has done it. Rosenquist with his first podium. Hunter Ray finishes 3rd, Power 4th, and Rossi moves to within 16 of the championship because there's the leader coming in. He lost 10 championship points with that off.
Rossi out of fuel. That shows you how close that he cut it. He had to come in, pull it into the end of the pit lane.
But they did calculate it correctly, and he got it done and maintained the 5th spot. What a finish. And Chip Ganassi Racing let their drivers go after it, and they did.
And the crowd loves it. Everybody on their feet waving. But look at this, guys. I don't know why Newgarden did this when he had Rossi behind him. He's got Hunter Ray has already protected the inside. He's making him go on the outside.
I mean, I don't know what Rosenquist was thinking either. That was a bold move on the curb. And then Newgarden just gets really aggressive with Hunter Ray.
A real desperate move for no reason.
Let's watch this. Oh, this will be a great view. He did try to do the cross-up, the over-under.
Yeah, it's just broke the front wheel. You saw the wheel was stopped. And then he just can't believe it. There was no reason for that.
So I mentioned that Newgarden lost 10 points on Rossi from 26 to 16 in the championship. Well, Dixon picked up 16 more. Remember, he was 78 back after picking up the 2 bonus points for leading the most laps. Now he's within 62.
And the Mid-Ohio Master scores again. And this will be a well-deserved celebration. The 2nd win of 2019 for Scott Dixon. Man, how tough was that? It doesn't look like there's hardly anything left of these tires.
Oh man, that was crazy. I feel a little bit bad with Felix. You know, I put some moves on him for sure there, but we were just a sitting duck. I had nothing else I could do. You know, I think if I let one by, I was going to let the whole lot by. So I'll say sorry to him right now. I'm sure I'll see him in a minute, but. I think we went too aggressive on the 2nd set of reds, got way too loose. Was our U set as well, but they held in there. All that counts is we got the win, but huge credit to the PNC crew. They did a phenomenal job strategy-wise and just making the car a bit better for the race.
What's it like racing your teammate there? He's going after his first win. You're trying to just nurse it around the racetrack. How tough is that just to balance that aggression?
Yeah, it's so hard, you know, and, you know, if I wasn't his teammate, I think he would have, you know, had me off. So a lot of respect there. And, you know, Felix is going to have a ton of wins. You know, this may help for our race for the championship. I think, you know, it looked like the others had a bit of a rough race out there today. So is what it is, man. But just proud of the team and proud that we finally got that done. That was a tough race, really tough race to hang on. Those tires were shot with about 15 to go. I thought we were going to have to pit again.
A great effort for sure. Well-deserved victory. Scott Dixon wins at Mid-Ohio.
Watch the ABC Supply 500, Sunday, August 18th at 2 p.m. on NBCSN.